Sports Media, and we doing a quick break-in post-game reaction to the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks, the overall number one seed on the women's side, 36-0, versus the number one seed Iowa Hawkeyes with CC Caitlin Clark, the basketball player of the year, who was 34-5. And it's a wrap. South Carolina Lady Gamecocks got it done. They defeated Iowa Lady Hawkeyes 87-75 in a pretty good national championship game. I'm gonna see if a couple of people jump in here. Again, I'm Kendrick, the sports guy. You're watching TFG Sports Media live reaction from the Women's National Championship game that took place in Cleveland, Ohio. And the Lady Gamecocks got the job done. They just had Camila Cardoza. She had 15 points, 17 rebounds, and 3 blocks. I'm sure, is going to be named the most outstanding player for the winning Lady Gamecocks, who will go undefeated, 38-0, which will make the 10th team on the Division I women's basketball side to win a championship undefeated. And you got to remember, this team, South Carolina, they lost all 5 of their starters from last year's national semifinals team. So they were basically starting over. But when you build a program like head coach Dawn Staley has, starting over it's not that bad, because you can recruit the best players and get them to come to your school. So Dawn Staley now has 3 national championships. She won one in 2017, won one in 2022, and now one in 2024. She is rising up that list of, when you talk about great women Division I women's basketball coaches, she's on that list now. She's getting there. We talk about Gino Auriemma from Connecticut. You talk about the late great Pat Summitt from Tennessee. You got to talk about Jody Conrad from University of Texas. Vandergrift, Tara Vandergrift from Stanford, just to name a few. And there's some others out there, obviously. But now Dawn Staley is putting her name in that cap as one of the greatest women's basketball coaches to ever do it. But again, if you missed it, if you didn't check out the game, South Carolina Lady Gamecocks got the W, 87-75 over Iowa. Caitlin Clark finishes her illustrious career at Iowa after, we really just started hearing about Caitlin Clark last year. She really has another year eligibility, but she decided to forego that, and she's most likely going to be the number 1 pick in this upcoming WNBA draft, which takes place April the 15th, by the way. She had, I believe, 24 points, I think. She had 18 in the first quarter, but South Carolina locked her down after that, and she didn't have much going after that, because she did go off in the first quarter with 18, but South Carolina ladies' defense, they locked her down, and that was a wrap. Actually, Caitlin Clark finished with 30. She had 18 in her first quarter. She was 10 for 28 from the field, and 5 for 6 from the free throw line. Iowa, they fall again in the finals. You remember they lost to LSU in last year's national title game that Iowa did. But they to get to last year's title game, they defeated the South Carolina team. South Carolina gets revenge this year, and they get the win, a big win for Coach Dawn Staley and her South Carolina Lady Gamecocks. So this was a real good win. And that little guard for South Carolina, I got she was hitting those threes. What's her name? She had 19 points. T. Johnson. She was 7 for 11 from the field. From the field, she did her thing. South Carolina was just too big for them. I just think at the end of the day, they killed them on the boards. I just think Iowa couldn't keep up with them on the boards. I'm getting ready to look up the actual stats from that just to see how big the margin was uh, between the two on the boards. But Carolina, especially with Camila Cardozo, who also already has declared for the WNBA draft as well. She had a big game, and I'm assuming she's probably going to be named the most outstanding player. So I'm trying to pull up these team stats so I can get a look at it. But you know how it is when you're working with laptops. But again, they doing the post game festivities with South Carolina, and here we go. Rebound, yes, South Carolina out rebounded Iowa 51 to 29. 51 to 29 on the boards. South Carolina shot 47% from the field. Iowa shot 39%. Iowa was 9 for 23 from three-point land, and South Carolina was 8 for 19. So that was the big difference there. They were both even pretty much for free throws attempts. Iowa had 20 free throw attempts. South Carolina had 17. It was a pretty even match game. But I just think South Carolina was too much for Iowa inside. The big girls, they had too much going on. With Camila Cardozo, the 6'7" young lady. She did her thing. She had a double, and I picked South Carolina to win this thing. Again, they become the 10th team in women's Division I college basketball history to go undefeated and win a national championship. Dawn Staley again wins her third at South Carolina. If I'm not mistaken, Dawn Staley just signed, I want to say it was 2 years ago, where I think she's the second highest paid women's basketball coach in the country behind Connecticut's Gino Auriemma, and she deserves every bit of it. Shout out to South Carolina Lady Gamecocks on a season where they were pretty much the number one team the whole year. They've been number one ranked in the AP poll since pretty much the last 4 months. They had that scare in the SEC semifinal game versus Tennessee, where I believe it was Camila Cardozo that had to bank that shot in to get them into the ACC title game, and where they defeated LSU. And as I said, Camila Cardozo was just named most outstanding player, I believe, of this game, and they getting it done. So again, it was a great game. I thought it was great, up and down. But South Carolina just was too much for Iowa in the end. And again, salute to head coach Don Staley and South Carolina Gamecocks on this great win for them. 3 national championships. What more can you say? Also, salute to Iowa. Got to say that. I'm watching the UFL game, Nash Hoffman. Okay, well, you missed, I'm not watching that, but you missed a great women's game, national title game, Nash. It was a good game. I'm a women's basketball watcher. I've been, I'm not gonna say I'm diehard, but I definitely keep up with it. And I would suggest those that want, don't look down on the women's basketball, because I think when you really look at what they've done this last year and a half, if you really pay attention, they more fundamentally sound than the guys. Because I think some of the, it's hard for me to watch the NBA until the playoffs, because all they want to do is run to the 3-point line and shoot 3-pointers and flip and flop all over the place. Nobody really, plays defense that much on that side. Oh, that Nash said he watched the end of it. Okay, well, you missed a good first half. I mean, it was a good game all the way from the beginning to the end. But again, the better team did win. I would say that definitely. South Carolina was the better team. They had more dogs. Not saying Iowa, the Lady Hawkeyes didn't have no dogs too. They played a hell of a game too. I just think the inside game for South Carolina took over in the second half, And that was a wrap for Iowa. Caitlin Clark, again, she finished with 30 points. She had 18 in the first quarter. And it looked like she was on a it looked like she was going to be filling it up. But South Carolina finally figured it out, and they tightened up, and they played well defensively against her. So again, that is a wrap for today's women's national title game. Again, I'm saluting South Carolina Lady Gamecocks. Let's see if we can continue this. We can continue this same momentum, this same interest in the women's game. Because again, we losing a lot of players. Angel Reese has declared for the WNBA draft. Caitlin Clark has declared she's most likely going to be the first pick by the Indiana Fever. They're projecting Angel Reese to be the number 7 pick going to the Minnesota Lynx. Camila Cardozo, the center for South Carolina, she's declared for the WNBA draft. So now, can we get this same interest for the WNBA? Can we continue this momentum for college basketball? Because we still got Juju Watkins out there at USC, who's she's prime time. She's a prime time player to watch. So if you haven't watched Juju Watkins at USC, you gotta check her out. So it's still some other women that's balling. So we're gonna see if we can keep this momentum going. I'm anxious to see what the numbers are gonna be for those that watch this women's national title game, because the semifinal game Friday night between Iowa and LSU, it was around almost 13 million on ESPN Plus, and so that is the most watched women's NBA game in history on ESPN. Now this one, this game today was on ABC, ESPN Plus too. So you had, you could watch it over free TV even if you didn't have cable. So we're gonna see what happens. Then tomorrow night we got the men's national title game going down in Glendale, Arizona. Got number 1 seed Purdue versus number 1 seed UConn, who is looking to repeat as national champs. They'll be the first team to do it since the Florida Gators did it in 2006, 2007, when I believe head coach was Billy Donovan, and I think Joakim Noah was on one of those teams, if I'm not mistaken. So we got the men's game that's going down tomorrow night. That will be on TBS. So again, I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Thanks, Nas, for dropping in. I just want to do a quick break in, give my thoughts on my reaction to the women's national title game. Again, salute to the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks. And make sure you check out TFG tonight. If you want to hear more stuff, we're going TFG tonight. I'm part of a panel which is hosted by Brenton Haynes, my guy Lee Black, and our sister Lady D, Devin Devine. We do a show here on YouTube at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. We talk a little bit more about sports, politics, what's trending, all that type stuff, what's happening in news. So go subscribe and check us out tomorrow, TFG tonight. I think the host, Brenton Haynes, is going to stir the pot a little bit about this Caitlin Clark, about the hype. We're going to see. We're going to have conversation about that. Plus, we're going to talk about other numerous topics. Obviously, the solar eclipse is going to be on everybody's mind tomorrow. If you're in a good place to watch it and see it, that's cool. But some places, the weather's going to be kind of tricky. I'm in Texas. I'm in East Texas, by the way. And so right now, it's looking like it's going to be kind of tricky for us here because it's said it's going to be cloudy. So we might not even get to see much of the solar eclipse. So not that I care, because I'm not going to be, I don't really care about it anyway. That ain't my thing. So anyway, go check that out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel TFG Sports Media here. If you haven't watched, I did a show around 1 o'clock with my guy, KLTV Sports Director, Michael Coleman. He's the sports director at ABC affiliate in Tyler, Texas, which is in East Texas. We did a show prior to the women's national game tip-off. Go check that out. Make sure you like that, subscribe, comment on that too, and share it and all that to your social media platforms. So again, I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Nash, thanks for popping in. He said he watched the UFL game. I couldn't tell you who played in it, but I'll go look it up and see what happens. Thanks for popping in. You guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday and be safe out there. And if you're going to be trying to watch that total eclipse, make sure you take precautions on tomorrow. So again, I am Kendrick, the sports guy. I am out. Peace.